Hello, this is the One Episode Rule, a podcast about first impressions. I am Magpie. That's it.
That's it.
Cool.
I
That's who you
I
are.
watch like
Magpie.
I watch like one show and I paint Warhammer shit. Like it's not appropriate for the podcast.
Fair.
Listen, I've claimed a lot of dubious things are anime on this podcast, but Warhammer is not
Warhammer is-
one of them.
We're hammering it.
Maybe it needs to be.
Although
Have we
some
ever
anime
considered
are
that?
Warhammer.
Some anime
It's
are
true.
Warhammer. Warhammer and anime.
Anyway, how are you guys?
I'm Blackle. I'm doing pretty good. Not much to report, honestly. Yeah, I'm just sort of chilling, living life. I'm gonna go see Barbenheimer this weekend, so
Barbenheimer.
that's
Excellent.
gonna be fun.
Now I am
It's
become
Barbie.
Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer.
Now I am
Aw.
become plastic, the floater and pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
This is
Uh-huh.
inappropriate, but I'm going to drop it in here anyway because it's funny. And
Uh-oh.
it's a funny dad anecdote, which is one time the neighbors came over when we were kids and we had an above ground pool, and they brought their life size Barbie. You remember those
No.
things? The life size
Yes.
Barbies that were like 4 feet tall. Yeah, and they just left it floating face down in the pool. And my dad came home from work and thought one of us was dead.
That's
That's
Killed
fucking
me.
funny.
Um,
Oh my god, Barbie's dead.
But anyway, anyway, go ahead.
wow. So hi, I'm Joey. I have not been watching anime this week, but I did go to an anime
You
convention.
did go and participate in anime.
I did go participate in anime. I was helping a friend with their table, so most of what I did was people watching, which is great because you get to see all the good cosplays. I will give yeah, I will give shout outs to 3 particular ones, which was the Jolene, who gave me a hand stamp. You were amazing. I liked the Kamen Rider cosplayer. You looked awesome. And I liked the Girls Last Tour cosplayers. You were
Nice.
like good for you for cosplaying this obscure anime.
You're not gonna
Really-
mention. You're not gonna mention the Reagan cosplay.
The Reagan who was having trouble with the ATM for like 10
Struggling with the
minutes.
ATM.
Oh yeah, I had some friends that cosplayed as well. Their cosplays were of course perfect in every way, so that's a given. But anyhow, yeah, I had a good time. That's been my week, and I'm about to be real busy with moving, so woo.
exciting.
We will see about JoJo's future availability.
Yeah. Anyhow,
Is it my turn?
that's me. It's your turn.
Hi. I guess this is, I don't really know how to follow like that.
It's fine.
I've been drawing, that's about it. Oh, I didn't say my name. I'm Louie. Hi.
Hi,
Yeah.
Louie.
Hi,
Hello.
Louie.
Do you guys want some news?
Yes.
Yeah.
I got
let's
some
have
news.
it.
First
Only in the
of
form
news.
of poetry.
No. First of news. Looks like Polygon Pictures is going to collaborate with Marvel to produce what I assume to be an anime called Spider-Man Freshman Year.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I am
Yeah.
assuming the timing feels weird. I would almost say assuming to like compete directly with the new Adventure Mans of Super and
Adventure
Lois
Man.
Lane.
Adventure Man.
Adventure Man. And that sort of thing. But who
Interesting.
knows? These things
His name
are
is Clark Kent, but it's Clark with a K and Kent with
Yeah.
a C.
like Mortal Kombat. But
We're like Clark Kent.
but yeah, these things are always in production for like months or and years. So who
I feel like
who
I've
fuck
heard about
knows?
this like back in like years ago.
It's possible.
In other news, James Cameron has hinted that he's just gonna make new Alita Battle Angel movies.
What? James.
He just
Oh,
dropped it in the
yeah.
middle of a conversation and did not elaborate.
James, you can't.
I will give you the exact quote from an article about why he's selling his ranch in California, which is in the middle of that. On Avatar, I'm working in Wellington and Los Angeles, and on the new Alita Battle Angel films,
Oh,
I'll be working in Austin, so it just doesn't make sense for us anymore. Just like,
Wow.
well, all right.
All right, buddy.
Was the first one like okay?
I heard-
to do that.
I heard that it was.
I heard that it was
So-so.
fun and also uncanny at the same time.
Yes, that's pretty much what I've
They
heard.
gave her huge eyes.
It made her eyes big.
Which
Well,
like
I love
sounds
girl
like a
with
good idea.
Huge eyes.
Just fucking huge peepers. But
Huge peepers. That's what I like.
Big ol'
damn girl, I bet you see loud as fuck with those eyes.
I like that.
and finally, Hayao Miyazaki's How Do You Live has come out in Japan and earned 13.2 million American in its opening weekend.
Wow.
Speaking of American, I've looked up some other news about this, and the American title of this film is so fucking stupid. Because the American title of this film is The Boy and the Heron.
Yeah.
It's not like he made this up. This is based on an actual book called How Do You Live?
Yeah.
And it's not like How Do You Live is like hard to wrap your mind around as a
like
title.
it's a hard title. Come on.
Which makes me think they're going to market it like weirdly. I don't know. Especially since there's no marketing materials.
Yeah, we know nothing, right?
And
like
we know what the book is about.
right.
And the book is about the book. I read the synopsis of the book and therefore the anime, and I've concluded that this is going to be the saddest fucking movie I see in months. So.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, incidentally, G Kids has secured that for American release sometime this year.
All right.
They haven't said when, but
There's only so many months left.
there's only so many of the months. So anyway, I have been asked, I've been petitioned to bring back the gun.
Don't say petition. This is a single person like.
I want to be shot in the legs.
We can name and shame.
That's a petitioner right there.
I think it's a filibuster.
A petition has been lodged, and so I want you guys, however unwilling, to pick a number from 1 to 6.
8.
4.
6.
8's not between 1 and 6.
Okay.
I said 6. I said 6 first.
No, you didn't say it first.
No, actually, 4
I
came
did.
out first for sure.
Do you guys want 4?
Yes.
4 it is.
No.
Okay.
really, but
Okay.
do
This is okay. Good. This is fun. Then we're going to hit up Vatican miracle inspectors.
Oh gosh.
Pardon
What?
me.
So what if The Exorcist was a chapter of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Oh, fascinating.
What if we had Bishonen Catholic X-Files?
Oh yeah.
I was going to say X-Files.
Has no one-
Blackle, I'm gonna kill you.
Has no one else read or watched The Gray Man?
No.
No clue what you're talking about.
Although
Sure
I have heard of it, but anyway, who wants
Okay,
this
well-
blurb? Louis, I don't think you've ever read a blurb.
Louis, you will have
God
the
damn it.
You-
I've finally been caught. Every week it's like, Jojo, well, read the blurb. Black will read the blurb. And I'm like, thank God it's not me.
yeah,
Thank
you've
God
been
it's
here
not me.
long enough that you've been called up for the draft.
Listen, I've had to do like jury duty twice in 2 months. I think that's service enough.
Just read.
Just read the
Oh, you mean out loud? Okay. Fathers Joseph Koharaga and Roberto Nicholas are Vatican miracle examiners. Thank God they have like kind of normal names. When I say normal, I mean Western.
Wow.
I know I'm problematic. I'm sorry. Who investigate the podcast canceled? Who investigate the authenticity of miraculous phenomena reported from all over the world? In every seemingly sacred event lies horrors of hidden conspiracies, mysterious murders, and devil worship. In this battle of good and evil, Hiraga, a scientific and mathematical genius, and Roberto, a polymath in linguistics and classics, because of course, must work together to bring the truth to light. Will their friendship and fate endure the evils of their journey to find a true miracle?
So I need to explain to you guys what I thought this was when I picked it up for the podcast. Because I saw the name, I saw a picture of the guys, and I said, I'll put that in the gun. And this was months and months ago. And what I thought it was going to be was an episode like a miracle a week thing where they go and use science to debunk it. I did not expect so much like Satan worship.
To be like a Mythbusters situation.
Yeah, I was expecting Mythbusters. Wasn't expecting like this Exorcist shit. So yeah. We open on a guy, a security guard making his rounds, and he stumbles across a scene of some robed figures crouching over a pentagram with lit candles, mumbling just nonsense. It just appears to be nonsense. It doesn't seem like Latin or anything. It just seems like fake garbage.
Yeah, seems fake.
And it's very ominous until he just chases them away. He's like, "You damn kids, get the hell out of here!"
Oh, they're playing the demon game again.
With your demon games. I was just like, you got to chase away the Satanists. You got to chase away the fake Satanists who are doing it because they're bored at boarding school. Which is the most realistic thing in this anime. But yeah, and he goes on to talk to himself. He's just like, God, this job. Like, I finally land a job, and I can't get through it without a drink. This place is so fucking big. I got the hospital and the academy and the chapel.
See,
weird noises all the time.
At this point, I thought this guy was our main character.
That would be funny, just a show about this guy. Like,
I was for it.
Security guard who has to like fucking patrol a haunted church. But it's like, I hate this place. I hate this place. I hate this place. But no, he's not our main character. He's the guy at the beginning of the episode of CSI who finds the crime. Because the next place he has to hit up is the main chapel because he hears something strange going on in there. And he's just like, God, is there going to be more kids in there? And he cracks the door and he flashes his flashlight in there and he goes, my God, they're floating. Because there is a Griffith in there. You know the type. There is a blonde student in there floating off the ground with the stigmatas. It's just like, I was just like, oh, so this is how it's going to be. Okay. And then they don't, the best part of this is, I'm going to spoil it for you. They don't investigate him in this episode.
Nope.
This is clearly
completely unexplained.
This is clearly a male student, and they simply do not engage with him at all.
It's...
So, moving on, we cut across the world to the Vatican, to Rome. Where one of our characters, Roberto, is making his way through the Vatican. There's a nice shot of the Swiss Guard in there.
By
the way, when I say the Vatican, I fucking mean it. I almost feel like some of these backgrounds are unaltered.
Yes. They put like an AI filter over them or something.
Well, this is 2017. They didn't even have that shit for the.
Wait, is that old? My God.
But remind me to get to it because I have some choice words about the visual properties of this anime.
Yeah, me too.
Especially its backgrounds.
Me too.
But yeah, he's making his way through the Vatican. Sees the Swiss Guard, doesn't acknowledge them, prick. They have to fucking stand there in Renaissance clothing every goddamn day. But he's making his way through. Doesn't he goes up and rings an indoor doorbell like 6 or 7 times.
The buzzing noise that thing makes, it was so unusual. It stuck out in my brain.
Just a weird noise. And the idea of I know why it's happening here, but just the idea of an indoor like door buzzer is bizarre to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just like, all right, I'm coming in. And he comes in and he finds his partner. because his partner is passed out at his desk, having broken down playing the mathematical game of Angels and Demons, which he claims to have invented at a later point. Which, by the way, he fucking didn't, and he's not playing
really
it right.
Hello?
Because I'm familiar with the game of Angels and Demons as like a game theory tool and shit, and like a mathematics thought experiment. Which, by the way, I don't even know if you can win. But
it's more of a I don't know.
But
main theory thing.
But yeah, and he's just like he's sitting there just like well, C, B, 150F, and Roberto just leans in and is just like, what if I put a circle here? And he's just like, no, if you put one there, black will win in 283 moves.
Yeah.
He's just like, yes, I see. He's just like, oh God, Roberto, what are you doing here? It's just like, we're late. Archbishop Saul wants to see us. He's just like, oh, forgive me. It's just like, you should probably shower before we go see him.
Please take a shower. You are so smelly.
This is one of the only earnest moments to me in this show that succeeds, because he goes and takes a shower just with the door open. He doesn't even bother. He gets in this tiny cubicle shower and he's washing himself, talking about the game. And his dilemma with God.
Yes.
Because he's talking about how his little brother has terrible bone cancer and he's only 12 years old. And I was like, that's fucked up. And he keeps losing himself in the game of Angels and Demons because he thinks if White wins, then maybe it'll mean his brother will get better. And he launches off into a side thing about feeling like Job.
Job being tested.
And while this is happening, the only actual moment that works in this show for me is that Roberto is ironing his habit and his collar.
That's really funny because the shower scene felt like fan service to me. I don't know.
Oh yeah. He's also we should mention this. Roberto is an NPC.
Yes.
he is a completely bland to design. He is a medium Italian man. He is any character from Monster.
Yeah. Yes, that's so true.
Whereas Hiraga is a twink.
Yes.
He is a tiny cut Japanese man.
Yes.
So, and Jojo mentioned he is very nude in this scene but only shot from the waist up, and it does feel like eye candy, and I don't know why.
It's fan service, and also it feels like I don't know. It feels like they could be doing some some baiting with the this show feels like it's for someone with very specific tastes, and that includes men and Catholicism
and priests.
I know
there are people out there
have become Catholic.
I know there are people out there who have priest kinks.
No, I know. That's why I'm saying this is for them.
But suffice to say, these priests are a little gay.
A little bit.
Moving on. One of them more than the other, I feel almost. Because the other feels like almost nothing. But moving on.
One is Castiel, one is Dean.
Oh,
stop
Dean
it.
Winchester,
We can't do this.
Italian Catholic Dean Winchester.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Kinda. Let's move on. Because they have to move on. They have to go to see Archbishop Saul, who is just an old man. He's not even one with a lot of character.
No.
And they're just like miracle examiners. I summon you to the miracle mobile.
Go Gadget, miracle summoner.
Characters' names other than the main characters is baffling to me.
I thought it was bizarre that his name was Saul, the pre-Christian name of Paul.
Right.
But he's just like, I need you guys to look at a miracle, like it's your job. And they're just like, okay. And it's just like, here, have a look at this letter. And it's from a sister, Dolores, something
Yes,
Dolores,
I think.
But she is self-reporting an immaculate birth. And Roberto like reads it, and there is almost some resignation on his face when he's just like, "So an immaculate birth, right?" Well, you realize if we believe this, it like upends the entire church,
right?
And everybody in the room says nothing. um, and he's just like, wait a second, this is directly from her. Why didn't her church send this? And he's just like, you're correct. She sent it herself. Also, I want you to look at this. And he unfolds this thing, and I don't know what this is supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't
know if I'm supposed to
reference.
recognize this, but it is apparently half of a like tally marker, and it's wood, and it's been scored with like a serpent design, and they all seem to recognize it implicitly. They're just like, the serpent representing the devil, and these letters RICH, rich, and it's just like, well, this must be there must be another one that says glory on it, and Haraga's just like, why? It's just like, it's a common cliche prayer for Satanists to gain glory and riches. That's the antithesis of God or whatever. I don't know. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, this is fake.
This is nonsense. And Mr. Saul, Cardinal Saul? Is he a cardinal? He's a cardinal.
He's a real good man.
Is he a bishop? Is he a cardinal? He's a man.
Black Landers.
He's in a little hat. But Cardinal Saul is he's just like, I need you to recover this from, I forget the name of the fucking place. It's like the Church of Santo Domingo.
Yeah, that's the one. You got
the
it.
Chapel of Santo Domingo. And it's just like, from the same place? From the same place. And they're just like, oh shit. And he's just like, okay, go with God and do a good job, my special little boys. It's a very strange conversation.
It's fine.
It's a strange job to have.
And they send, and he sends them to the south of America, which means Mexico.
Yes.
Because they definitely go to Mexico.
Yep.
Such a strange turn of phrase.
So yeah, they do an Indiana Jones plane thing, which I always love. You love to see it.
The 3D plane.
Yeah, the shitty little 3D plane
made me laugh.
But yeah, they land in Mexico. I'll say this: it's very interesting to see both a Japanese interpretation of Catholicism in general and Mexico specifically. Because it's Mexico, but there's no piss filter.
Right.
Yeah. Right, it's just because they put shitloads of cactus everywhere.
Yes.
Which is, as somebody who lives relatively close to Mexico, accurate. So yeah, they're coming on the place, and the guy they have a cabbie who's accompanying them, and he's just running off at the mouth about UFOs and shit.
Yeah, he's
and it cuts
so
to
excited.
It cuts to Roberto in the back, and he's just like, I didn't expect to hear about UFOs on top of the fucking devil.
Well, welcome to the South of America.
Welcome to the South of America. And he's just like, what are you doing, Hiraga? And he's just like, I'm texting Lauren. Just like, is she the person who works who's your backup? And I was just like, they have their own like little support teams that stayed back at the Vatican. He's just like, yes, I'm telling her we arrived. Lauren texts and emails in the most aggressive style I have ever seen. We see exactly one piece of dialogue from Lauren, and it's almost terrifying. But we'll get to it later.
We'll get to that.
But they come in. They drive up to the church, and they are accosted by many priests. There are too many priests to know here. The important ones are Father Thomas, Father Klaus, and Father Jacob, who are all there. And they're just like hello, welcome. You know, thank you for blessing us with your presence or some Catholic shit. I don't know. Listen, a lot of the dialogue on this kind of rolled over me.
Yeah.
What I got was a vibes-based experience.
Yeah, pretty much same. The fact that you remembered any of the names, once again, I'm impressed.
Well, I remembered one of them because he's important. But
I mean, still.
Something interesting will happen to him later.
I know which one you're talking about, and I completely already forgot his name until you said it just now.
Good man. Shame about that incident. So yeah, they're just like, would you like to? Just like, you must be tired from your travels. Clearly, we must rest. And clearly, you must want to rest. And Haraga's just like, oh no, we're not tired at all. Can you take us to see Sister Dolores? And everybody like looks at him. He's just like, oh yes, but first let us pray. It's like gotta pray.
Gotta do it.
Don't do a social faux pas by doing your fucking job. You feel like they would like dispense with this to a certain degree. It's just like we're all priests,
right? No.
It's actually the opposite. Is that they need to do it, or else they lose their priesthoodness.
Is it like performative?
Yeah, they do it or they die. Is pretty much how it goes. Yeah.
But yeah, they step into the main chapel to have a pray about it, and talk about how beautiful the stained glass is, which it's like okay, and they spend way too long talking about martyrs.
Yeah.
And I look and like stained glass designs of people being martyred, and I'm just like, this is very colorful, but also these scenes are horrifying.
I thought that
people are being violently martyred in these stained glasses.
If it's one thing I have learned that Christians love, it's martyrs. They love seeing the people that are dead.
They love to see Saint Sebastian bleed to death.
They fucking adore that imagery. I can't. It's unexplainable to me. Indecipherable.
But yeah, they move on to the hospital because this place has a full modern hospital attached to it, in addition to the academy and the church itself. And they come into this place and they're just like, wow, this has got all the amenities. It's just like, that's very impressive. And it's just like, yes, we're very proud of it. And they go up to see Sister Dolores. So they come in on there, and Sister Dolores is at the far window in like a long sick room, like they don't have anymore.
They've got the one.
Like that I associate with like World War I.
Yeah.
And like people with like dudes with their legs cut off dying.
Yeah.
But it might be this. Catholic hospitals might be the same now. I don't know, but she's at the window, and she's just like, "Oh, you finally come." It's just like God gave me a sign, and she turns around and just blood blowing in from both of her hands because she's got the stigmata, and it looks bad. It looks like a bunch of.
It looks like roses. Looks like rose petals.
Imagine someone does that and they just turn around towards you and their blood starts flying at you.
Flying at you, and you're just like,
oh. Can you go to the bathroom?
You're just like, Jesus.
Like,
it's in my mouth.
Stop it.
So yeah.
That can't be healthy for you.
I feel like this was where the commercial break would be because it was cut so abruptly there.
It was.
That I can't even really remember what the next. Oh, they play Ave Maria. That's what I remember, and because the mood is so fucking weird. Because they go from that, which is like a big sting, to them just talking to her, just like, okay, so we're gonna have to take blood samples.
Yes.
Which your blood type is AB. That's pretty rare. Just like, okay, we'll collect this, and I forget what they do next.
They're just on their computers, like looking for her records. They're like, they show.
That's where they do this. Okay. Because they do her blood type, and they're just like, okay, this is AB, and the blood that came from her hands is AB, so it's definitely her blood.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, not necessarily. It could be somebody else's blood, but they don't go into
rare,
it.
Doesn't mean it's.
So in the canon of the show, yeah, it's definitely. So they're going through it, and they're so matter of fact about it. And I have no idea what Roberto is doing in his computer. I think he's just wasting time because he doesn't have anything to do. Because what Roberto's job is to like translate ancient texts and find reference material and shit, and just be like, no, that's a lie. That's not how Francis of Assisi did it.
Yes, I don't.
It's just like, you don't have knowledge of God. You are the weakest link. Get out.
He's kind of a big nothing sandwich, isn't he?
Right now, he hasn't had his moment to shine. He's just spinning his wheels.
This was a very.
While Hiraga is doing like forensics work.
Sure.
I'm honestly like expecting it to kind of turn into the Tom Hanks in fucking like the Da Vinci Code or whatever.
Yeah, he's going to be decoding shit.
Just screaming, like yelling historical corrections at people.
Maybe.
That might be his job, and if so, excellent. Perfect for the tone of this show. But yeah, Hiraga is doing some shit, and he's just like, I'm just gonna send an email to Lauren. And he's just like, hey, I need you to check out her Dolores' gynecological records. Oh, by the way, we skipped a scene. It wasn't that important. But yeah, they showed the baby, and it's like, oh, this is a baby. This is like 12 weeks on. It's like, that's
also, here's her hymen.
And her hymen is normal.
Which, by the way, that's not how that works.
My medical knowledge tells me that's just like, that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
That doesn't mean anything.
Listen,
it's fake.
Listen, if you're not a complete brute, you can impregnate somebody without tearing them up down there. But weird way for the podcast to go.
Anyhow.
But yeah, he's
We've
just
gone to weirder places.
I want to look into her gynecological records and the church's financial records, and Roberto's just like, oh, you're suspicious of them too? And it's just like, well, they have a state-of-the-art hospital, and
their shit is too nice.
They shouldn't be able to afford that on donations and proceeds from the boarding school.
They said it totaled like $3 million or something.
Yeah, just wait for it, because we gotta get the information back. But he sends that. He's just like, look into that, and he gets an email back like nigh instantaneously, and the email is just like, got it, boss.
Yeah.
Understood.
Understood.
Makes me think that Lauren's like code for like some kind of like fancy AI system or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
Just an aggressive 3-word email. But yeah, I think they have to go to dinner with the priests.
They do.
Yeah, they got to go to priest dinner, which is the lamest dinner.
Priest dinner.
In between all of this, we have some like inconsequential shots of kids from the boarding school, and one of them is the Griffith from earlier, and they just look at him every now and then, and he looks knowingly at the camera. That's it. There's nothing important there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go to eat priest dinner with some priest friends, and all the priests introduce themselves, and it's worthless. The scene doesn't mean anything.
What was up with that one lady slurping the sausage?
Oh yeah, so yeah, there is a character that isn't really interacted with more than twice. Wait, 3 times. Her name is like Doretta. Right?
She keeps showing up to be like weirdly horny.
She's like weirdly horny, and she puts it on Roberto for a second, and he's just like, "Oh."
He's like,
I'm too Italian for this, but
stop it.
But yeah, and somebody bursts in and is just like, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm this guy. And it cuts to her, and she just like glares at him and just bites into this sausage, and he's just like, gulp.
Yeah.
I was just like,
but she like bites it like sexily.
Yeah.
I can't. You just have to see the scene. It's
unbelievable. Yeah, it's exactly what you think it is, listener. But yeah, I forget where they go after this. Do they just go back to their room? Do the priests let them go?
Okay, yes, they go back to their rooms, because then there's the dream sequence.
Yeah, they go back to their rooms. He gets some more information from Laura, which just was like, hey, Dolores has no gynecological records, but the church's savings is like 30 million, and they're just like 30 fucking million.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it's ridiculous.
Why do they have that? And Roto's just like, I bet it's Satan.
Something's
which is a great moment. just casually throwing it out there.
You're so right, Roberto.
You're right, Bestie. So yeah, they I think they attempt to go to bed. Roberto's still working on, I don't know, hieroglyphics or some shit. He does not elaborate what's going on.
He's writing poetry. I don't know.
He's writing uncomfortably horny poetry about Jesus. Like so many of the romantics before him.
So true.
But Hiraga goes to sleep. Or rather, we don't know this. We just experience a dream sequence from him, which is they're suddenly standing at the window, and Roberto says, "It's just like, hey, this place. I think this place is suspicious too. Like, it's nighttime. Everyone should be asleep, but I hear footsteps outside." And he's just like, "Huh? It could be the guard." And then they're just down there, in a kind of like weird abstract scene that looks like a photo negative of some weird shit from one of the Exorcist movies.
I thought it was almost JoJo's-esque because the color shift.
There's a color shift. There's like a weird black and white contrast thing going on, and a whole bunch of like weird, like useless arches above a darkened path, which is what got the Exorcist bit from me.
Okay, fair.
Actually, I can see the Exorcist on this. Like, well, I was joking earlier, but it's there. Hiraga's just like, wait, Roberta, where are you? You were with me. That's just a second ago. And a hooded figure down the way is just like, I'm so happy to see you, brother.
Yes.
Like, it's me, Ryoma. It's just like, he's just like, you're not Ryoma. I'm gonna point my cross at you.
Be gone in the name of the Lord.
In the name of the Lord, be gone. And he wakes up in a cold sweat.
Yes.
And Roberto's just like, yo, what's up? And somebody bangs on their door, and they're just like, hey, man, it's like midnight. What's your problem? I think it's Father Thomas. He's just like, something terrible has happened. Oh, wait, we did skip some shit. We skipped some like vibey shit that I wanted to get at. God, what was it? It was after all the tests. They were discussing how suspicious the place felt. And they used it. They jumped to like weird conclusions very quickly. It's just like, I feel an aura of blasphemy.
They said that.
This is a place where good and evil are struggling. And
those are direct lines.
And there is there was a lady with a child, presumably with a child, like off the ways next to them, and she was shown earlier in like a weird zoom out of the whole compound. And Hiraga notices her for a second, and her child is like swaddled all the way up, like almost with a hood, and inside you just see like 4 pairs of eyes.
Yeah,
4 pairs of like reflections.
Yes, there are.
And it just zooms in on him like he's having a Shinji Ikari freak out.
It's really scary.
It's really scary and sudden. And then they never mention it again. But yeah, they get woken up in the middle of the night. It's like something terrible has happened, and they get led away. And down in the shed, which they were talking about earlier, they're talking about earlier in the dream sequence, which was weird. There's a shed down there, and there appears to have been a sacrificial ritual because Father Klaus is no longer amongst us.
Father Klaus didn't make it.
Father Klaus, the skeptic, I should say, about the virgin birth, appears to have had his head stoved in with a big rock. on top of a pentagram with burning candles, and they're just like, well, this is suspicious.
And then everyone else on the premises starts being suspicious.
Literally everyone in this everyone in this fucking chapel is the most suspicious priest I've ever fucking seen.
Yes.
So they like everybody shows up and just looks at the body and immediately starts disturbing the crime scene.
Right, and Roberto's like, "We need to call the cops." Like a normal person. Like
they say it's Father Klaus to some of the people gathering at the door, and Doretta is just like, "No!"
Yeah, right.
And she clings to somebody. I'm just like, "Whoa." Roberto's just like, "Hey, we got to call the police. This is a murder." This isn't really
like
hard.
The church business fest.
Like he's just not gonna be like, "Oh,
he's examining like in a cursory fashion just because it's habit." But he's just like, "Yeah, this is definitely like a cop job."
Yeah. Like, I understand when a priest is not necessarily needed, and this is maybe one of those times.
I am perhaps not the most suited to this situation. They do interview the night watchman from earlier who stumbled upon this place, and he's just like, "It's those damn kids with their demon games." And I'm just like, to be honest, Joseph, this does look like the work of those damn kids and their demon games.
Maybe. Perhaps.
I mean, I don't know if you're right, but I wouldn't think you were stupid for making the assumption.
No, it seems like a fair jump conclusion.
But yeah, they're just like, "We need to call the cops." And one of the older priests is just like, let's wait on that for a second. And they're just like, "Are you serious? This is a murder." And then he immediately starts sweating, and he's just like, "The church needs to handle church business."
Yes. Suspicious as hell.
Yeah.
And then we cut to kind of a nothing scene where they're outside during the day. And he's just like, "You couldn't sleep after that shit either." And it's just like, "No." And he goes to like wash his face in the fountain, and he's just like, "Oh," and he's like, "What's wrong?" It's like, "It was too cold, so it hurt." And he's like, "What am I gonna do with you?"
That was
like,
weird too.
What do you mean?
What am I gonna do with you, my little Pishi?
my special little priest boy.
I feel like that was supposed to be a characterization scene, but what it came across is they were like trying to imply that it's holy water and it burns him.
It burned him because he's.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what they were going for, but it was so unusual.
It was an odd scene, and then we move on to a mostly photographic outro segment.
No, we gotta cut to the scene where he's telling everyone that Klaus is dead.
Oh yeah, well he tells everyone.
Did that happen after the credits?
No, but the big priest just tells everybody the Klaus is dead.
Because
that's it. That's all.
Someone in the audience named Carlos starts freaking out. What was that? The Griffith?
No, the Griffith was nearby though. Being Griffith,
he was there.
But yeah, that's pretty much the end. I didn't mention it because it meant nothing.
I thought it was something.
So let's get into this because I have to talk about the visual properties of this fucking show.
Yeah, my
favorite. Some of which are great, i.e., the extremely sudden and jarring shit with the baby earlier, and some of which are fucking hilarious. The funniest thing to me specifically is the CGI water from the end of the episode.
The water, yeah.
It is one of the most fucked up looking things I've ever seen. It is a 90s Final Fantasy asset.
I thought I was weird for noticing it. I was like, that's suspicious looking.
No, it's bizarre.
Honestly, all of the 3D assets in this show were a little sus. Not gonna lie.
I didn't mention it, but every time something related to Jesus happens, they flash for like a second to this like CGI Christ on the cross, who's like bronzed. And then they just rotate him.
They do. They rotate him.
Rotating
like, we
Jesus
can
in
do
my
this.
mind.
We have the technology.
We have we have the technology and the moral obligation to rotate Christ.
Rotating him in my mind.
I think the thing I found the funniest was all the little like weird folly noises that were happening when that like when that nun like crunched onto the fucking sausage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah,
Like,
there was some choices.
Yeah. So yeah, this was nothing like what I expected. I initially thought this might be like mid to good, and I was concerned that I had put too many of those in the gun. But this definitely belonged in the gun.
No, this is definitely a gun episode.
This is because this is a fucking weird one.
When does anyone watch okay, we're gonna watch my favorite anime this weekend with all of my friends. I'm gonna gather them all in one room, and we're gonna watch all of Vatican Miracle Examiner.
I'll tell you what.
It's gonna be great.
I tell you what, I might, because I got a bottle of wine in the fridge.
Goes well with the guilt.
Oh, so you're gonna take communion to this one, huh?
yeah, with sangria. The vibes in this show are so fucking weird that I'm fascinated with it.
I know, it was all over the place. Because honestly, I'm gonna level with y'all. The first half of the episode, the only thing that I kept writing on my paper over and over again is, this is too much talking. This is boring.
Oh my god, it's so much
talking. Can something happen already?
A lot of priesting was happening, where priests priested at each other.
It was too much, and I was like, this is the most boring show I've ever seen, and it's dragging. Then the second half of the show happened, and I was like, pardon me? What the fuck is this?
The devil is here, and also murder.
And also this, what?
There's like this weird, sexy nun and this 4-eyed baby.
Like, again, I know who this show is for. I just, it's so...
You know who this show is for?
Yes, it's for people with priest kink.
Oh, right. Sorry, I forgot.
I personally found the priests to be actually quite bland, but everything happening around them was really doing it for me.
I still think that it's priest kink, because
definitely.
You can't tell me that's not what they were going
for.
Whether they succeeded or not is something.
I think all Max is really communicating is that he doesn't have priest kink.
Yeah, I don't really have it. I'll put it this way, is that these priests have exactly as much taste as a Eucharist.
Correct.
But anyway, to spoil things.
More of this?
Yeah, to spoil things, I will watch more of this.
I will only watch more of this if I get to watch it with y'all.
Exactly. I will try and inflict it on people.
Feel. I would not go out for more of this on my own. This isn't one that I'm going to be like, oh yeah, JoJo's going to binge all 12 episodes and the OVA right now.
Is it OVA? What could that OVA possibly contain?
Who fucking knows? Also, I didn't think this one. I wasn't expecting this to be a two-parter or a multi-parter.
Yeah, I expected this to be an X-File where.
Yeah, an X-File.
That's what really got me into it. Is the based premise is actually a pretty good idea.
No, it's good. I like a miracle of the week or whatever.
But it took its base premise and it was just like, absolutely not. We are going to have a murder mystery.
I like how at the end they were just like, do you think that miracle of the crying statue is real? And he's like, nah.
It's just like, no, not really. So... the Virgin Mary cried in the scene where they talked about Father Claus being dead.
So I'm gonna break the streak here and say hard pass on this.
Yeah.
I'm not I'm not upset at that.
I'm not gonna be like, oh, you have to watch.
No, that's it. It's just there's nothing here for me.
No.
It's just
it would be calling the kettle black if I told you that I was upset with you for not liking an anime.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I just want to see it turn into more freak shit. I want to see it get worse.
I mean,
I would like for it to get worse.
I do want to get worse.
If you would like to see us get worse, you can send us some emails to oneepisodecast@gmail.com.
That is one the word, not the number. Please employ us at Twitter. You can gather our resumes from at One Episode Cast, and we'll even write a cover letter, maybe.
No,
I won't. No, I won't do that.
I'm not doing it.
Wow.
Cover
I would
letters
do
are
it.
bullshit.
None of you are getting employed. Me only. Well, Blackle maybe.
But yeah, you can follow our continuing adventures there, where we
While
watch
it
shit like
lasts.
this.
We're
I
gonna
feel
keep-
like it's never gonna die.
It's never gonna die. We just have to keep saying that it's gonna die, because
That,
then it won't.
That it's like that copy of fucking WinRAR on your computer. But
You must purchase this product. Nope.
you must purchase this product.
Not gonna
Man, that one priest was pretty gay. I don't know. Listen, I don't know from gay because I don't go here. But
Mm-hmm.
but even
Yeah.
even to me, he seemed pretty gay.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe.
It was, to me, he came off less gay and more like a straight girl's interpretation of what a gay guy is.
That's
That could be
definitely
accurate.
there. I can definitely see that. I did feel like, okay, this is bait, probably.
Oh, definitely.
For sure.
Unless they're stupid and don't know what they've done, which is entirely possible.
Well,
Anyway,
maybe
we
we'll
got to get out of here. I've had enough of these priests.